Quincy Williams is one of the best contracts in football. I'll explain why. Plus, some more disrespect coming in right at the buzzer. What the hell? Let's go.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
What's poppin', everybody? Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. That was my brand new intro, thanks to Gator McCluskey, an absolute magician, and I love it. It's shorter, it's more impactful, it's got some nice rock and roll, baby. Oh, yeah, it gets the blood pumping. And welcome to Boy Green Daily, which is a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcasts. And we're fired up here to be talking about Quincy gosh darn Williams, who deserves all the love that he gets, or the love he doesn't get. We'll get into that in just a second. But Quincy Williams last offseason signed a 3-year deal for $18 million. We've got a full column down in the YouTube description down below talking about it. And folks, not enough people are talking about it. One of the best contracts in all football. There were people, when Quincy signed that, were like, oh, I don't know. That seems kind of like an overpay. And, you know, that take did not cook well in the oven. You know, sometimes you put something in the oven, you forget about it. Oh, boy. It starts burning. Those are those takes. And a lot of people had them. And appreciate you, Terrence. And new intro is fire. Damn straight it is, Terrence. It's spectacular. Shout out to Gator for putting that puppy together. And I'll tell you here, if I gave you guys a guess on where Quincy Williams ranks among the highest paid linebackers in football, you probably wouldn't get it based on his new contract that he signed last offseason. It's a 3-year deal for $18 million, $6 million per year. And I'll spoiler alert, 22nd. Quincy Williams is the 22nd highest paid linebacker in football right now. Here are some other names that are above Quincy. You remember this name? Blake Cashman, who signed a deal with the Minnesota Vikings this offseason at $7.5 million. Blake Cashman, the ghost of Blake Cashman, is making more money than Quincy Williams. Bobby Wagner, his old ass, is making $6.5 million. I mean, go through the list, and this wasn't meant to disrespect a bunch of these random names on the list, but he is 22, which the Jets better enjoy that deal for as long as they have it, because eventually Quincy Williams is going to come, and he's going to say that today's price is not yesterday's price, that rent is due, and he is to collect. Quincy Williams last season was a first-team All-Pro linebacker. Only 3 players in the entire sport earned that nomination, earned that award. And those 3 players are Quincy Williams, Fred Warner of the San Francisco 49ers, and Roquan Smith of the Baltimore Ravens. Those are the 3 first-team All-Pro linebackers last season. And Quincy, remember, 22. $6 million per year. And then you go up a little bit higher to those 2 names. Roquan Smith's making $20 million per year. Fred Warner's making just over $19 million per year. Again, 3 linebackers were first-team All-Pro. 2 of them are the highest 2 paid linebackers in the sport at $20 million and $19 million per year. They have Quincy Williams just all the way down at 22 at $6 million per year. Again, Jets, enjoy that deal while you have it, because it won't last long. Eventually, he's going to be commanding that kind of salary, which, by the way, is a 200+% increase. I bet Quincy is counting down the days till he's eligible again. So Quincy has just made, obviously, seismic leaps to the top of the linebacker market. Or has he? Now, this link is not down below because the article came out late before the show. Folks, Jeremy Fowler dropped another one of his lists this morning, the off-ball linebackers, which I thought it was a guarantee, a lock, that Quincy Williams is going to be on that list. He wasn't in the top 10. Oh, boy. I thought we've had some other travesties earlier as we're talking about this position or that position. Quincy Williams not being inside the top 10 linebackers in football on Jeremy Fowler's list is criminal. It's disgusting. It's unbelievable. Hell, he wasn't even the number one honorable mention. He was deep on the list. What gives? What? So, again, I keep going back to this thing I keep saying about a first-team All-Pro linebacker. The other two first-team All-Pro linebackers last season are number one and number two on the list. And Quincy Williams, who is also first-team All-Pro, is not even in the top 10. Make it make sense. How does that make any sense whatsoever? Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Unbelievable. And let's see. Let's scroll down to see what they even said for Quincy Williams. Come on, man. And then we'll talk about some of the names that are above him. Explosive hitter that brings the attack, high effort, and mentality to the Jets defense. Veteran defensive coach. One line on Quincy Williams, and that's it. Here are some of the names above him. Okay. You got the Fourier Alakun guy from the Jaguars, Dre Greenlaw, who blew out his Achilles in the Super Bowl. You have Demario Davis. We love him, former Jet. He's great. Tremaine Edmonds of the Bears. Okay. Let's keep going here. JOK, Jeremiah Wusu-Koroma of the Browns. Love that guy, former Golden Domer. Nick Bolton of the Chiefs. Patrick Queen of the Steelers. Matt Milano of the Bills, who missed like all of last season. With that leg exploding. Roquan Smith, Fred Warner. I just don't know how you get first-team All-Pro, and that happens. Darren says that list is trash, Paul. That list is trash. That is unbelievable. I do need... Now, this is the one where I really lose my friggin' bananas, but hopefully someone can talk me off this cliff, and that is Jared B., who is gifted a membership, baby. Play it. It always messes up on the first one. Here we go. Very rich tone happening there. Let's welcome the new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, and I love it. Spread the love if you can. Pay it forward, as you've heard others say here on the show. And this new member is Sergeant CVO. SGT CVO. Absolutely friggin' love it, baby. Welcome to the show. Thank you, Jared B., for spreading the love, baby. Yes! Booyah! Oh, wait. We got another new member. Play the chimes. We have DNY for life joining us here on the show. Let's go. Okay. See, you can either gift memberships or you can just punch in your own ticket to the dance. I love it. Welcome to the party. DNY for life joining us here on the friggin' program. Spectacular. Yeah, baby. I love playing the chimes. Every time we get a new member, it's like an angel. You know, right? You ring a bell, an angel gets her wings. Someone just joined the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. For $2.99 a month, you could help spread the love. And Jerby was hoping that Sergeant CVO would get it. So there you go. Welcome to the show, brother. Excellent. That's worth an extra sound here. One more time. Booyah! Yes! Welcome to the program, baby. Okay. Unbelievable. Peter Campisi, by the way, says 22 is ridiculous. I know. The Jets, again, and remember this. This isn't meant to shame anyone, okay? But there were people, Jets content creators, that were out there that said, oh, boy, that contract looking a little sus. The 3-year, $18 million that Quincy Williams got. And then, boy, did he cash that in. So people were questioning it when the Jets gave it to him. So it wasn't immediately like, oh, man, the Jets just got this crazy deal. So there's a lot of people that questioned it. And look at Quincy now, baby. And apparently, just when you think, so here's a funny, not funny. So I was listening to the Mina Kimes show a bunch of weeks back. They were doing the AFC East preview. It was Mina Kimes and our boy who's been on the show 100 times, Taylor Kiles, who covers the New England Patriots. And they're going through the show. And Mina says during the show, I'm listening, and watching. And Mina Kimes says during the show, well, Quincy Williams, super underrated. And I kind of cock my head sideways. I'm like, underrated? Again, she can't hear me. I'm not on the show. But I go, underrated? There's a first-team All-Pro linebacker last season. And eventually, as we're going through the show, she's like, let me look up what Quincy was. Was he second-team All-Pro or something last year? And she said, oh, wow, first-team All-Pro. And she goes, well, I guess he's not underrated. Then we see today, he's not even, he being Quincy Williams, isn't even in the top 10 of the off-ball linebackers by Jeremy Fowler. Again, I'm not trying to bash Jeremy here. He's not the one who did it. It was the 80 people he polled of coaches, scouts, and league executives. I'd like them to take a piss test. Something needs to be evaluated here. There is a tragedy. There is a scandal here. This is a crime scene. Caution tape everywhere. How do we get away with that? It's disgusting. Quincy Williams is a first-team All-Pro. Look at all the stats. He had a career year by every measure. 10 pass deflections, career high by a mile, 139 total tackles, 15 tackles for loss. I mean, this guy was a beast. B-E-A-S-T, beast. And Quincy Williams even say this, so he got first-team All-Pro, which, by the way, is the highest individual honor you can receive outside of, like, Defensive Player of the Year. And as I explained this the other day for another one of these lists, like a Pro Bowl, you could be like a 12th alternate. Your mother's cousin's god's nephew's friend can be your Pro Bowl alternate if all these things happen. There's no alternate. You're an All-Pro or you aren't. There's no substitutions. There's none of that. You either make the list or you don't make the list. And Quincy was one of only 3 people on the planet Earth, that made it as a first-team All-Pro linebacker last season. Yet not top 10? Not top 10. Ridiculous. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What is Quincy's Madden rating? That's a good point. It's probably super low, if I had to guess. I don't know if I could look that up real quick for you, Brandon, but Quincy Williams Madden rating. I'm sure it's not great, would be my guess. Quincy Williams Madden rating. Okay, here's the 2020. Oh, we're going to learn this right now live on the show, I guess. Okay, NFL player ratings on the EA homepage. 83. Disgusting. 83. Terrible. So apparently that's his rating right now. Terrible. Unbelievable. Jared B. Paul, have you tried to get Leger News on the show? I think you two would hit it off. We did. I've had him on the show previously, but I'd love to have him back on again. Yeah. He was one of the guys when I made this. So I didn't make this intro. Gator made this intro, but I gave him some ideas of clips he could use if he wanted to. And one of my favorite clips from this show's history, you guys can go check it out. If you type in Boy Green Leger, it should come up. But I introduced Leger when my office, this studio setup, it was somewhere else. And I said, let's bring him in for the very first time, Leger Duzable, although Jet fans will better know him as Deuce. And he lost his crap and he started laughing and he had a good time. So, yes, we got to get him back on the show. No doubt. So I love Deuce. He's good. We got good vibes, good energy. We follow each other on social media. We'll have to get him back on the show. That's a good call out. I think I saw him on Jake's show. I saw that he was on Jake's show. I haven't seen that Jake episode yet, but I'll have to check that out. DNY for life. Happy to support my guy. Hope they all see this. Let's go. Let's play it for you. Thanks for the super chat, brother. Thank you. And yeah, I appreciate the support, brother. I have not started drinking coffee yet, no. But apparently I should. That is terrible. Absolutely terrible. So 83 on the Madden ranking. There's someone else who had a question about all this. I have a question about this. Matthias says we can't pay everyone. Well, that will be a conversation, I guess. So he is under contract for 2024 and 2025. So he's a free agent 2026. That'll be a tough one, boy. And he has every right to be asking for 20 million plus because, well, not according to the Jeremy Fowler rankings, of course, but in all other people of life, that's going to be a lot of moolah. It's a first world problem. The Jets have perhaps the best off-ball linebacker in football, or one of them in Quincy. You have the best corner in football. You have arguably one of the best running backs in football. You have a very talented wide receiver. We'll see where he places after having a season with a good quarterback Yeah, there's a lot of guys to pay. A lot of guys want to secure the bag. DNY for life, a new member of the Boy Green Coffee Club, says, I'm loving the slide of our players. Motivation, Jets. Jets. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just when you think you arrive, you think like, oh, everyone knows who I am. Guess not. Guess not. Wow. Let's go to Taylor Sterling here. Says, Snubbed and Quincy's going to piss off his brother, too. This team is going to have the biggest chip on their shoulder. Let's friggin' go. So, yeah, that's perhaps the better way to look at it. Say, okay, just bet. All right. Add it to the list. It's just stupid, though. Like, there are, Tom Brady has said, to randomly bring him up on the show, that sometimes he would make up things as chips on the shoulder just to motivate him. And he said if he said it enough, he believed it. Like, if the defensive lineman didn't really say screw you, but he kept saying in his head, he said screw you, and then eventually he just like, yeah, he did say screw you, and you just believe it. You like almost will it into existence, even though it's not true. Like this Quincy Williams thing is like ridiculously stupid. Like, we can have Jets bias on certain answers, right? Like, some people, not me, but some people are like, AVT wasn't in the top 10 of the interior offensive line rank. He hasn't played in 2 years. Of course he wasn't. So I totally understood why he wasn't on the list. But there were some Jet fans that said, he should have been on the list. Okay, like, that's one thing, okay? Like, you can live in that fairyland until AVT's healthy. He's not on that list. But, like, Quincy unequivocally should have been on this list. And not only should have been on, like, on some point of the list, he should have been in the top 3, top 5, worst case. Oh boy. Unfriggin', that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That is just dumb. Absolutely stupid. Just disgusting. And C said, Quincy's rated 9th on Pro Football Focus. Okay, there you go. That's at least it's top 10, I guess. So, yeah. See, that's where I'm at, Sergeant CVO, new member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. As long as you get one ring before these people leave, I could die a happy man. That's kind of it for me, to be honest. If you win a championship, it kind of smooths everything else over. Whatever we figure out, like you're like, well, at least we got the chip. So if you don't make the playoffs, if you make a playoff run and don't finish the job, you make the Super Bowl and don't win, it's going to be like you're going to be a forgotten team in history. Outside of us going to a local watering hole, talking about the Jets. Oh, that team in 2024. They could have won the Super Bowl. They didn't, of course, but oh boy, they could have. You know what I mean? Like, winning it cures all ails. It makes me go, okay. Like the Jets make one decision or another. They can't keep everybody. Like that makes it a little bit easier. An easier pill to swallow. If you don't win the chip, it's even more excruciating because then forever it'll be the what if. Why didn't the Jets win a championship with this core together? Because every team is different every year. It's a speech that they all make on Hard Knocks at the beginning. The team right now won't be the team later. The 90 men that start, by the way, shout out football is back. We have several teams. Let me pull that up from Schefter just so I can give you guys the little shish kebab here. Let me see. We have a bunch of rookies reporting today. Here they are. Adam Schefter. And so it begins. Rookies for the Bills. Da Bears, Chargers, Chiefs, Dolphins, Giants, Saints, and 49ers report today. Football is back, baby. It'll be 2 more days for the Jets. Rookies report for the Jets on the 18th. The rest of the players report on the 23rd. And the first practice on the 24th, baby. We are here. Yes. Excellent. But yes, Sergeant CVO, it is, again, for me, get the chip. It makes it all better. Let's go to Brandon, my boy here. Let's play it. With a beautiful $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Let us go into the season underhyped. We're going to prove them all wrong with several exclamation points. Yeah, baby. That's all right. Sleep on us. Sleep on it. Like Mina Kimes, speaking of Mina Kimes, every Monday for the last couple of weeks, she's been doing this bit called the Power Hour, quote unquote. It's a unique version of the power rankings. And in these power rankings, what she does is she's on the show. She has a guest on the show, and she keeps throwing 2 teams on the screen. Pick one or the other. Don't worry about schedule or talent or that. Like, who's the better team? Like, Chiefs 49ers, boop, boop. And then they pick one, and one advances, and they're placed number one. And then that second team face another team, another team, another team, another team, another team. So, technically speaking, for whatever analyst comes on the show, there's a limit to where they can put the Jets because they are slaves to wherever Mina puts them on her board. So, there's a limit to that. But in all these power hours, a lot of these people are just going, Jets, Jets. And then they're kind of putting them in this 10 to 15 range on the board, 10 to 12 range on the board. Okay. Yeah, so right now, I mean, we're as underhyped as you could get. There's no hard knocks, no hoopla from that perspective. It does seem like, Brandon, that we are underhyped, which it's difficult to do. I think that will change the moment Aaron Rodgers shows up, and the Hassan Reddick situation. There'll be some more hubbub, noise, whether good or bad or indifferent, be coming for the Jets. But, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would prefer the underhyped notion. But one more time, thanks for the super chat, Brandon. Damn straight, brother. Let's go. Hopefully you started getting some action in on the College Football 25 video game. We talked off air. Hopefully you got to play some of that. And again, mine's still not available for a few more days, but I hope all you kiddos out there get a good enjoyment out of it. Williams says, best roster in the NFL. Okay, you could make that case. Jets have a very, very talented roster. Hep says Quincy does well when he's confident, and boy is he, and he has every right to be. One of the criticisms that people had of Quincy heading into this past season was, he's got the thundering hits, but he misses tackles, and he's questionable in coverage. He was the second best coverage linebacker in football last year behind only Fred Warner, and dominant against a run, and he lays the lumber on people and makes them make business decisions and question whether or not they played the right sport. Whether when they told Mama, I want to be a football player, and Quincy Williams hits you, and you go, maybe there's a different sport out there. He separates your soul from your body. He is a freak. Zebo says, draft pedigree affects how people see you forever. I believe Quincy was a third-round draft choice out of Murray State. So it could be. Which is stupid, but you could be right, Zebo. I love this line from Terrence. Jets don't have enough space in their whiteboard for all this material. All the bulletin board material, it's a multi-page effort. I tell you guys, I've been on a cruise twice. The second time, I was responsible for all the payment of it. And, we're enjoying the cruise. I'm like, woo, this is so much fun. This cruise is spectacular. At the end of the cruise, they're like, sir, your bill. They give you like a little itinerary of the bill. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I paid before the cruise. They're like, oh no, this is all the extra stuff you got while you were on the cruise. It was a multi-page. I'm thumbing through. I'm like, shoo, 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 shoo. I'm like, this is like 4 pages. What's going on here? That's it. There was not enough space on a single page to tell me all the charges that were happening in my card. I'm like, oh boy, oh baby. I guess I'm going to be washing dishes in Bermuda, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but yeah, just goes to show you. Phil, late August, early September, Devonta Adams trade. No, Phil. I'll tell you, there's a lot of hubbub about it. I saw Randy Moss on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams saying, ooh, Devonta Adams. Like, everyone's talking about it. It's a hot piece. I'm currently still going through the wide receiver Netflix series where Devonta Adams is featured, and boy, is he frustrated. These cameras were following him around last season, just to give proper context. But he was pissed throughout the season about all kinds of things. I haven't got to the Antonio Pierce part, so take that for what you will. But if a Devonta Adams trade is going to happen, Phil and anyone else, I don't mind answering these questions. If you guys send them in, I'll answer. You ask me what color my underwear is, I'll probably tell you. But I believe that if this trade is going to happen, it's going to be at the trade deadline. And the necessary ingredients for it to be possible are the Raiders suck, which, by the way, is totally possible. The quarterback play is Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, which is terrible. So that could get Devonta Adams pretty frustrated pretty quick. And then the Jets have to be either great or middling Like, if they're terrible, if they're 1-6, then this isn't a conversation. But if they're 5-4, 6-3, or better, you can convince yourself either way that the Devontae thing's going to happen. Either number one, they're really good and they're like, oh, there's another piece to go over the top. Let's not be complacent. Or they're like hanging. They're like, we need another piece to rev this engine. Either way. But the immediate necessary ingredient, I don't imagine the Raiders would do it if they're contending. If they are the one that's 6-3 or 7-2, they're not trading Devontae. So it's only if they suck. We need them to suck for it to be possible, is the long story short of it. And plus, what happens with the Jets? Is Mike Williams healthy? Malachi Corley, Alan Lazard, Xavier Gibson. What are all those guys doing? Is Garrett Wilson healthy? You know, those also factor in. If everyone's doing good, if Garrett's healthy, Mike Williams good and all that, maybe there's no room for Devontae. But what's the likelihood of all those things being arrow up over arrow down? I guess that's to your own interpretation. But no, I would be stunned, flabbergasted if that trade were to happen before the season, to be honest. But it's possible. Yeah, I haven't seen, you're saying all these articles saying August, September, we're trading for. I have not seen that, but if we do, great. I'll welcome Devonta Adams with open arms. Come on in, sucker. But personally, no, I don't see it. Got John Sauer. Oh no, the Green's off his name. No longer a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. We gotta get that green back on there for Pete's sake. But John says, I'm lucky. I was around for Super Bowl III. Not so lucky. It's been 56 damn years and no SB. Yeah, that's like a double dipper there because, like, I can't even imagine what it was like to be in the moment for Super Bowl III. Again, I have Super Bowl III on DVD. I've probably seen it 100 times. I've got it, again, on DVD. It's great, but to be in that moment, I can't even imagine what that's going to be one of the greatest moments of my life, besides my daughter being born and my son eventually being born later this year. I'm sure it's going to be up there top 3, which, again, we'll see where it's set. Sorry, kids. We'll see where you settle in there on that. Let's see. Oh, I see. Sergeant Sevo. It's easier than saying the letters. OIC. Yes. Okay. I will. Sergeant Sevo. Okay. I will work on that. Sergeant Sevo. Let's see. I'll jump back to your comments. We've got another membership coming in, baby. Let me scroll all the way down here. Throw it up from Uncle Tio, gifting us with his presents. Hit it, baby. That is MJR being gifted with a membership. Name so nice, you got the 3 letters there. MJR. We've got another one. Hit it again for Tio, who's just in the giving mood, baby. John B., you just got a membership. He's like Oprah Winfrey out there. You get a membership. You get a membership. You get a membership. Sweet Lord have mercy. We love it here with 300 people live here in the room. Uncle Tio, God bless, brother, and thank you so much. By the way, speaking of God bless, I just have to say the baby appointment went spectacular. Absolutely spectacular yesterday, and my baby boy's doing great, and we'll see. Oh, Tio says he's trying to get John Sauer back his membership. It's like a lottery, right? It's just dart throws. Okay, okay, I guess you're going to have to keep whacking out there. I love it. But, hey, John B. appreciates it. Good looking out, Tio. Beautiful. And pay it forward if you guys can. You guys get it. Share it with others and join yourself and spread the good love, baby. We appreciate you. It's like a lottery. We'll see what other darts can happen there. Yeah, my baby's in the 80th percentile of growth. So the baby's looking big. And I'm like, okay, adjust your draft boards, Jets, for the year 2045. Oh, yeah, baby. Yes. Love it. That is great. All right, let me get back up to the comments where I was. I'm not sure if I can. Oh, yeah, here it is. So Zebo says, should have signed Huff, honestly. Love Huff. I've had him on my show. I've talked with him privately. Bryce Huff's awesome. I love Bryce Huff. Hassan Reddick is a better player than Bryce Huff. So if it's truly about the now, Hassan Reddick's a better player, straight up. Now, this should have signed Huff, honestly, might hit differently if a week from today, actually a week from today is report day, but like, you get my point. If we're in the thick of training camp and Tom Reddick ain't there, Zebo, we will revisit this because you might be right, because Huff, I don't imagine, would have held out. But if Reddick shows up day one and we see the production, I'm not going to miss Huff. Good luck in Philly, but as long as Hassan Reddick's doing what he was put on this earth to do, we're going to be okay. So we'll wait on that. NC says, some of us older guys have been waiting a long time. Need something to happen soon to keep our sanity. That's very fair. And they say abstinence makes a heart grow fonder. I wonder what that means for 56 years, but would be neither here nor there, I guess. Yeah. Adams said on the sideline, man, I need to get out of here. Like, things are so bad in Vegas. Again, I've not seen the full receiver show yet. I'm a couple episodes in. Williams says, has there ever been a brother tandem like the Williams brothers on another team ever at the same time? I don't know. Like, obviously there's been Peyton and Eli and other brothers like that. But no, I mean, for Quinn and Quincy to be Bosa's, John Sauer brings up that one too. Yeah, there's been really, really good brothers in the NFL, but on the same team at the same time, no, not that I can think of at this current moment that are this good. Like, both have been all pros. Like, that's, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Zebo asked Paul what colors you're in. Let me see what I got going on here. Green. Go figure. Yeah, I had no idea. Put on a fresh pair, but I don't remember the color. It's dark in the room because I don't want to upset I'm in the room with the fiance and the baby, so I don't want to have the lights on and everything. So I'm kind of like messing around with either a flashlight, just kind of reaching into the drawer, like kind of like a random, like a random fantasy draft door where I'm kind of like reaching in the hat. Okay, what do we have? Boop, up. Okay, I guess that's what we have. So there you go. It is green. Again, I just wear green every day by virtue. I guess that's all I have. Okay, Harvey's guess was green, white, or black. They are green. Green, black. I guess there's black and green. So there you go. Harvey, bonus points for you, sir. Matthias says, there is a no show I like the Coffee Club Morning Boy Green show. #1 stream in America. Yes, let's get the votes in. Darren, not a tidy whiteys guy. Nothing against it, of course. Breaking Bad and Bryan Cranston, he pulled that off wonderfully, but I'm not a whitey tidy guy. Oh, that's where that came from. I see. The Boomer Esiason thing. I heard people talking about it, but I have not seen the clip, so I gotta get on that. I was a little slow. Thank you, Terrence. That explains that. Yes. Ian says the new intro slaps. Okay, we got more fans about it. I love it. Okay. Oh, thank you, Ian. Ooh, Paul, when you're ready, I'll put that on my list here. 3 Dream Team pass rushers. I'll come back to this because I want to answer the rest of these comments, but let me see. 3 Dream Team pass rushers. Okay, I will come back to that before the end of the show, Jared, I promise. I'll also open up the phone lines, too. Here in a moment. Let me see. Let me just catch up here on the comments. So we got that membership. Yep. T.O. Yep. We'll get you eventually back, John Sauer. We'll figure that out for you. Okay. Yeah, let's hit that like button, as Harvey says. That's a free way everyone can contribute to the show. Terrence asks, can you do annual memberships or just monthly? That's a good point. I will look into that. Let me also put that in my notes here. Annual YouTube memberships. Is that possible? Okay. That's a good question, Terrence. I will find the answer to that question. I don't know if there's some sort of a deal, right? You do a year, you get a little off. I'm not sure. I will look into that. Taylor, I didn't even think about that. He says, pretty sure liking and subscribing and commenting pushes you up the line for donated membership. So keep perhaps that. If you're just involved, you're an active participant, things happen. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I would that makes sense. Sure. Interesting. Terrence says, I think Huff was gone before they drafted McDonald, and I think that's why they drafted McDonald, like in their own heads. That could be true, Terrence. Especially if their view is they were like, Bryce can only ever play this many snaps. He can only ever do this much. Maybe and that would make sense, and an NFL team would think that many steps ahead. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, David D says, who needs underwear? Apparently going commando. Okay, salute you, sir. Air them out. All right, I respect it. Phil says, where can I buy a good quality Jets flag? Edward Delgado, I have not talked to him in a while, but he was always my flag guy of choice. On this wall, the old backdrop you used to see for my old studio was this boy green flag, and he made that. And it was relatively cheap, 20, 30, 40 bucks, something like that. Relatively speaking. I see some of Tio's guesses in here. Yeah, you're going to be influenced by the New York Sack Exchange for obvious reasons, Gastineau, and I'm assuming all edge rushers are all defensive linemen because I think that's how we separate it. So I'll need some clarity on that too. Jared. Is Joe Klecko involved, or is that a purely interior conversation? Because we're trying to categorize like off-ball linebackers to pass rushers to this. So I'll probably need some clarity on that momentarily for a Klecko inclusion. But John Abraham, Sean Ellis, those are good names on the list. But yeah, I'm curious on So let me know, Jared B, if like a Klecko is available to be picked. Or is he not eligible for the edge rusher category? So make sure. Darren says Jake does 15% off for the year. Oh, so you can offer it. So I will look into that, boys, and set that up so we can see if we can do year stuff. That's good. Okay. So I will look into that, Darren, to see if that's a thing. And that's also true. NC says Joe Klecko played multiple positions. He was an all-pro at 3 different positions. So technically he would be eligible. That's a good point. Technically he would be eligible. D tackle's next. So I guess I got to leave him at his natural position then, I guess, even though technically he played all 3. So, okay, I guess I have to leave Klecko off for that. So, because he was one to think of. Okay, let me first off, I'll drop in the call-in line for you guys to join. A lot of great action today. Thank you so much, guys, for the super chats and the memberships. That's beautiful. Video link to join. I'll talk to Jake too to see the way for memberships and how that works. Excellent. That is now pinned as the pinned comment on YouTube, everybody, for the 400 people that are in the room right now watching on Heavy on Jets Facebook page. Thank you to Heavy. YouTube.com/BoyGreen25 and Twitter @BoyGreen25. If you'd like to call into the show, that is the pinned comment on YouTube. You must hop over there. You can find it in my Twitter bio, the YouTube description, to hop on the show. Love it. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Ooh, NC, Sean Ellis was also a multiple guy. Okay, that might be a little confusing for organizing this list. Some controversy perhaps to come. We'll deal with that here in the near future before we wrap up the show. But let's hop on over to the phone lines. We got Hep Baby here on the program. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. Good news about the son growing good. I'm happy about that. The other thing is Salah. I like to talk about how he's developing these players, and he's a really good coach. I mean, pretty much Quincy was almost put on the scrap heap, turn it around, give him some confidence. And I think that, the criticism is that he does this only on defense, but he's really been coming from a place of delegating. And this year he's like, no more delegating. I'm getting involved in everything. And I think he's going to learn, and he's been learning every year, getting better. And Zach Wilson really was the guy that's the anchor that broke him down, So I think if we got rid of Salah, some other team is going to really benefit from a really good coach. I mean, it's almost like we're training these guys to be coaches, and then they go elsewhere, But
right. And plus, consider this: wherever he would go, he would pillage the village. He would say, "Hey, Quincy, all these guys that would eventually shake free, come over to wherever the hell I am. And the worst possible scenario would be he gets let go by the Jets, goes to the Dolphins, be their defensive coordinator, and he brings all the boys down south. That would be the worst nightmare scenario of all time.
I didn't even think of that. Oh, the other thing is, I used to work cruises. I must have done a million.
Ooh.
And those bills are no joke. I mean, I know what you're talking about. You have a drink here, you do this, you get a massage. It's like, was it over $1,000?
Oh yeah, it was over $1,000.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of extra. And I want people to understand. So someone that's never done a cruise. So again, I did 2 cruises in my life. I did one very hesitantly. Like I was like, what if you get seasick? Like all this stuff was going through my head. And by the way, the boat is so friggin' massive that you don't notice any of the moving. Even when it's moving crazy, it's a storm. So you don't notice that. But that was in my head. So what happened was my family, who was also on the boat, said, okay, Paul, we'll cover you on this time so you could get a taste. And if you like it, great. You could go on a million cruises. That'll be on your dime, Paul. So I did the first one, and it was on someone else's dime. I said, oh, this is great. Oh, phenomenal. Okay, let's do more of this. And then the second one, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm paying. You drop like a couple grand just initially to get on the cruise. And then there's all the other stuff you don't think about. Now we're just prancing along, get to the end, and boom, your bill. I'm like, Bill, sucker, I already handled that. They're like, no, you didn't. And then they give me this 4 or 5 page ensemble and all the things you don't think about, like, because tips are covered for those who do. I don't know if that works for all cruises, but my cruise in particular, like tips are already included, but that's part of what you get at the end. Like you don't have to tip them every time when they're doing stuff where you say, hey, can I have a drink? They're like, sure. They're like, but no tips. Nope. We're good. And then at the end they get you like, oh geez, hello. So, oh yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal.
I was lucky. I was able to drink in the crew bar where the beers were like $1 or something like that. So that's a lot better. But I knew, you guys got killed, man.
Oh yeah, we got killed. I appreciate it, Hap. Thank you. And yeah, the cruise was awesome. Again, the cruise, if someone's never done a cruise, and I'm trying to convince my dad because, well, although I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure if he's ever going to go on a cruise because like for his life in the Navy, he went on submarines. So to turn it around and say, hey, I'm going to pay this time to get on a boat, I don't understand why he never wants to do that, to be honest, quite frankly. But number 2, I would say, is that like if you've never done a cruise, though, it's cool. It's you get to drink and eat whatever the hell you want. There's like running buffets all the time. They have like activities and comedians and all kinds of craziness. And then most cruises, I don't want to say most because I've been on 2, but we go to Bermuda. We left from Boston, go all over the place, go to Bermuda. You hang out there for a few days and you come back, and it's great. It was spectacular. So expensive, but fun. So you just have to be very careful. So I did some extra stuff like a massage. Okay, that was nice. But it's some of the sneaky like surcharges on a lot of stuff that you do that gets added up. It's like $2.50 or $5, and in nickels and dimes, and they get to the other like, holy friggin' crap. So yeah, it gets a little crazy. To be honest. But it was a lot of fun. So I would do it again after I save up for the rest of my life. Matthias says, I can't even figure out how to gift a membership. There should be a little bit of a money sign there that is available on your screen, depending on whether you're watching on your phone, are you on an iPhone, are you on an Android, are you on a desktop, what are you on? But there should be a money sign on your screen that allows you to gift memberships. That should be there as well in front of you. And R&R says he loves the new intro. I do too. I've listened to it just a few times, just kind of dancing around, jumping between a few things, or just hit it, and I'm like, oh, nice. Oh, look at Terrence. I love cruises. I've done 3 with 1 more on the way. I've gone on 2, and they were spectacular. Both to Bermuda, I believe. Yeah, actually, they were both to Bermuda. They were fantastic. Absolutely. Okay. Zebo says, all-inclusive resort is the way to go. There you go. Should have thought of that, but I didn't. All right, let me go to edge rushers here. 3 dream pass rushers. Mark Gastineau is a polarizing figure. He is absolutely a polarizing figure. Just talking through names, obviously, John Abraham. I haven't made any of my officials yet. I haven't, I haven't added any names to my list. I'm just talking it out. So there's Mark Gastineau as a possibility. There's John Abraham as a possibility. Let's see. If we go historic, you could go in that direction. You could go old school like a Jerry Philbin. That's the Super Bowl era. Sean Ellis is a jet lifer. I hate that he ever went to New England. That still disgusts me. John Abraham would be on that list. Mark Gastineau. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, you got to get the New York Sack Exchange on there. Oh, we have some more cruise stories. Let me see this before I answer. Let's see. So Jerby said, I went on a cruise with my kids and they had their own cabin. They were ordering room service the whole time. Oh, oh God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, good Lord have mercy. That is terrible. Oh my God. Wow. Jared, that is terrible, man. That is freaking terrible. Oh God. Tio just did 2 cruises this year, Bahamas and Western Caribbean. Ooh, very nice. What's the one that we did? I don't know. I'd have to Norwegian. That's the one we've done twice. Norwegian is the cruise line we did twice. It was fantastic. The service was spectacular. The only issue is they as they were moving one of the suitcases, they broke it, and that caused some inconvenience. Unlike the last day, I was worrying too much about broken suitcase. I'd rather be spending time doing all the things you would want to do on a cruise. So that was the only bad part. But it was great. Jared B says, I've done about 10 cruises. Good Lord. But I live 15 minutes from Port Canaveral, so it's always tempting. Okay, there you go. I'm in New York, so there's not really up in New York City, you can take cruises out of there, but so not as tempting where I am. Like, it's not like throwing in front of you, but the little bastards. Oh, God. Oh, boy. The punishment would be coming. Terrence gives Sean Ellis, John Abraham votes. Damn, man. Phil, Gastineau was a beast. Should still hold the record for a season, but Favre gave it away. Yeah, he fell over. That bastard. Oh, John LG says the 15% discount on annual is the Discord Patreon, not YouTube. That's something he can control. So, yeah, I will look up after the show and see if there's a way I can offer it to you guys for some sort of a discount for doing the year. I don't know. But I will look into that, I promise. Zebo. Horrible. That reminds me when I was younger at my friend's house. His dad came home furious because the kid spent $700 on ringtones. Oh, my God. I've heard of families have the little tablet thing, and you can buy things off that, and they got things sent to the house. Like, I've heard little, not any of my children, so I only have one daughter. She's 2.5, and she doesn't use the tablet. She only uses it if we're on a very long car ride, which doesn't happen often, and she uses it for that. But that's it. She does not do, thankfully, God blessed be he. She's not a big technology girl. She doesn't really care about that kind of stuff, thankfully. So she's not a tablet kid or anything, which is great. But I've heard other war stories about other people. The worst thing that I ever did was back in the day, my phone plan, like, you only got like 100 texts or something, and back then it didn't seem like a lot, or it sounded like a lot, but it wasn't, and then all of a sudden you get charged a bill. I've gotten that business before, where I actually went over on the text, and they charged the crap out of you. Let's see. Matthias said he hit the money sign, just stickers and super chat. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to try to see it from your guys' perspective next time and see, do a better job of explaining how to gift. Tio gifts it all the time, so maybe he's on a desktop. I'll have to see which one he does. Not sure. Still paying that bill from 10 years ago. Good Lord. Oh, 2 weeks. Oh, wow. I found out the longer the cruise, the older the people. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Most of my cruises meant a week. I've been like on for a week. NC says Klecko played 4 years as a defensive end. He has to qualify. All right. Well, Jerby, can we get a Discord? Jared, I'll tell you this. If you set it up, and I know that's a lot to do with all the other stuff you have going on, if someone is willing to run it, I would love to. That would be spectacular. For sure. I'm open to that, and then I can help work with you. Darren says it's $3. Do we need the discount? Maybe not, probably, but just trying to help out where I can. Matthias said, "Can YouTube just make it easier for us old guys?" Yeah, like I said, I will look into it to see on that to try to give you a better thing. All right, I'll get back to these comments in just a second. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to our boy, and I'm hoping for an update here. It's been hopefully he's driving to the store for some fake sick medicine because I heard a cough last time he was on. Brandon here on the show. What's up, Brandon? Get any college football 25 in?
Dude, I was playing it from the time I got home till the time I went to bed. I was even playing in my dreams last night.
I love it when that happens. That's great. Awesome, man. I'll need a full scouting report on the game and see if it's living up to the hype. I've heard a lot of people say good things about it.
It definitely is. There's only one big thing that you can create a player on Road to Glory, but as of right now, you can't create a player and play them in Dynasty. You can't even that's the big thing is on Madden, say you have a receiver that you want to wear number 8. You can get on Aaron Rodgers and you can change his number from 8 to 12 or whatever. Sure. They have that stuff locked down.
Why?
You can't.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So apparently there's a lot of people that's upset about that. But now I used Arkansas State, which is a tiny little college. They had all the details down. It was amazing. The commentating was great. Everything was cool now, and everybody's thinking that it's a reskin of Madden. It's different. Now, I mean, if you're thinking it's going to be completely different, it's not. But I mean, it's different, and even running the option and stuff like that. I took a huge loss in the backfield a few times with that new option, but now I've got it running smoothly. So I'm liking it, man. I'm liking it. It's good. I think some of the stuff is still not available yet, but you can play Dynasty and all that good stuff. But anyway,
that's good. Well, I've heard people say that, for your point about the Arkansas State, which is a smaller college, I heard them say in the buildup of the last couple of months that they went to every school that's in the video game and did a deep dive on if they hang a different sign on Tuesdays or something they apparently is what they said, that they went to the nuts and bolts because they wanted to make that special. And they basically said, someone's Arkansas State is someone's Alabama. So we have to give the TLC to everybody. So I'm glad that part is true, because there's a lot of people that played. Again, for me, I'm here around Syracuse and I have the ties to Notre Dame for my dad. Obviously those are bigger ones, but those are ones that I'll play with. But Arkansas State to this school, everyone's going to be playing with their thing. That's really cool to hear.
Oh yeah. And I know everybody's probably I don't want to sit here and hear this guy talk about this college football game, but it's
love
good.
it.
I'll tell you that. I will tell you that. It was good, but I also wanted to get in on the, you were talking about Quincy's, just getting, he got left off. He didn't really get left off the list, but he made the honorable mentions. But dude, I'm completely fine with them leaving us off in all these categories, with Tyron Smith and them, because I'm if we go in the season and everybody's thinking we're this badass juggernaut, and then, I don't know, I just think it puts so much pressure, which I think we can handle the pressure, but it's going to be better when San Francisco's sitting there and they're God bless, Quincy Williams, who is Quincy Williams? Yeah, and he's out there just running the show on them, and then I don't know. That's just kind of how I am. I'm let's just show up and prove them wrong. And I'd rather catch them off guard, because I think that might be a factor in how we beat San Francisco. They may think we're not as good. I mean, even wasn't their corner. Don't they have a corner that was running?
I was talking a lot of shit. Yeah, that's Charvarius Ward. He talks shit about Sauce, Garrett Wilson. Oh, yeah. He's been running his mouth all offseason.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Garrett Wilson. I'm telling you, I got a good feeling about that guy. And I was also going to ask you. So sometimes when I jump in on the StreamYard, I miss out on what you're talking about. Did you end up finishing your pass rushers?
I'm not. I'm leaving it a little open. I'm normally like so. Jared's asked like two centers before, and it's boom. Nick, it's a Nick Mangold, Kevin White, boom, done, over. But the question, I guess, is Jared B is one of the fans in the chat that has been doing this all time list on each episode, and he is making all the rules of like what is allowed for each thing of linebackers, and because the Jets have played 3-4 and 4-3, of trying to organize it. The thing that people are still arguing about in the chat is like Joe Klecko played 4 years of defensive end, so he should be eligible. But then others are arguing that he should just be exclusively considered a defensive tackle, because I guess that's another thing that Jared B is bringing. So I have 3 pass rushers to pick from, but not knowing the rules or what people determine, that's where I'm getting a little lost in the sauce, and I'm trying to pick this, to be honest.
I got you. Well, so you get 3 though. That's right.
You get 3 pass rushers, which I think he's trying to say are like defensive ends, outside linebackers, like pure pass rushing guys. Who would be on your list, Brandon?
Mark Gastineau for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Okay, I'm sorry. I know I love Mark Gastineau, but you've got to give Sean Ellis. And I don't know. I mean, he kind of played like the actual. He played like the 4-3 defensive end and the 3-4 defensive end, so kind of like a D tackle kind of. So, but Sean Ellis was my favorite D lineman that's ever played on our team. So, I would say Ellis, Gastineau, and Calvin Pace. I'd have to go with Calvin Pace.
I love Calvin Pace. What a great guy, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I remember when we signed him, I was like, he came over from Arizona, and anyway, I was just like, man, I was like, who is this guy? Like, I've never heard of him. And then it was like, I don't know. I always liked him. I thought he was underrated. He was never a big name, but I always liked him. So that would be my list, I'd say. Got to show Ellis love, though. But
yes,
hey,
Sean
man,
Ellis, I love that, baby.
I appreciate your show. I appreciate you letting me get on and talk for a sec. And like I said, Friday, let me know what you think about the game. And also, I've been at Hats for BMAC too. So I'm going to send you some screenshots later on some ideas I got.
Perfect. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks.
All right. Beautiful. Brandon joined us on the show. Yes, what he was talking about at the tail end there yesterday. All you guys know or maybe know B-Mac, who's a caller into our show, who is this diehard Packers fan, but every time he calls to the show, he's wearing a Yankees hat, which rubs a lot of people the wrong way. So the question was brought up and figured out yesterday. Hey, B-Mac, if we bought you a Jets hat, would you wear it on the show? And first on this show, because I think Terrence was the one who said, well, it's got to be on this show first. And he said yes. And I said, well, if we raise the money, we'll do it. And boom, just like that, T.O. and Brandon raised the money immediately for a hat. And Brandon, because it was his idea, he is sifting through hat choices, and he'll give me some links and things later. And then we will send that to BMAC, and he will debut a Jet hat here. I'm looking forward to it. Boy, I'm getting more answers. Calvin Pace, he's a fun one. He's a guy that you're like, wait a second. He had a double-digit sack season. He sure did for the Jets. He had a 10-sack season in there. So, boy, I love Sean Ellis. So I'm going to put, okay, let's put the list together, okay? So I'm going to go Sean Ellis. Let's make him 1, Jared B. So we're going to go Sean Ellis. How do you not go Mark Gastineau? Does he ever get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? I don't know, but he'll make my list here. So Sean Ellis, Mark Gastineau. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's a tough for spot number 3. I'll keep Joe Klecko in the interior conversation. I know that will anger some people, but it seems like it's a polarizing topic in the comments section. So we'll save Klecko for the next edition of interior defensive linemen. Well, I guess another pass rusher we can go with here is boy. Yeah, I'll go John Abraham. He's spectacular. Had a spectacular overall NFL career and had a great run with the Jets. I'll put John Abraham as number 3. So Sean Ellis, Mark Gastineau, John Abraham. That's a tough list. The Jets have had a lot of really good players on the defensive side of the ball. All right, let's answer some more questions here. Ragnar Jet says, Paul, are you worried about our run defense? Have you seen or how you see Kinlaw, Fotu, Quinnen, and then your sack predictions for JJ Redick McDonald? Okay, great stuff here. All right, Paul, am I worried about our run defense? Somewhat. I don't think it's a glaring weakness. Obviously, Al Woods did a lot of work for the Jets last year. He goes down and they miss it. And I think some of the numbers are a little warped. When people look at the bad run defense numbers for the Jets, I think a lot of offenses, when they played the Jets, they made a decision. They picked the option to say, you know what? Zach Wilson is going to lose them this game. If we just don't F this up, he's going to give it away to us. So let's play conservative. Let's run the ball down the Jets' throat, which, by the way, is true. I believe the Jets were top 3 in rushing attempts against. So, like, teams ran the ball more against the Jets than almost any team in football last year when you look at those other advanced analytics. So teams tried to run the ball a lot against the Jets because, first off, they had really good corners. So they didn't want to test those guys. And number 2, they knew that Zach Wilson would eventually give them the game. And by the way, that was a appropriate calculation because that was true more times than not. So I think some of the questions about the run defense are a little over-exaggerated from last year. And if the Jets are holding more leads, it will be more difficult for teams to be running all over them because they're going to have to pass to keep up. So I think that's another factor. So that's question number 1. There is some worry because, again, we don't know, which kind of filters in a little bit to the rest of your question. You're like Fotu, how big of a run guy is he? Now, some of the analytics are a little, PFF is not favorable to Fotu in his run defense. But PFF grades aren't everything. Javon Kinlaw is super intriguing from a potential standpoint. And you have Quinnen. Also, I'd throw Solomon Thomas into the mix, who's coming off a career year too. Michael Clements will get some interior work. So how do I see them? Again, Quincy Williams is spectacular, and the role of the guy that's starting next to him, which I would imagine would be Javon Kinlaw, is you don't have to be, the line from Spider-Man where Aunt May turns to Peter Parker. She's like, "You're not Superman, Well, Javon Kinlaw, Fotu, Solomon Thomas, they don't have to be Superman. They can be Robin. There's nothing wrong with Robin. The yin to the yang, to the salt to the pepper. You can be not the guy, but a guy. And if you're just a guy with everything else the Jets have, you should be fine. So I think those guys will suit the role fine. Again, I would have preferred to have Quentin Jefferson back because of a filing paperwork issue. He isn't back, which is odd. Faxing a paperwork and a text message coming back and forth. I would have feel a little bit better with Quentin Jefferson, but I think the group's good enough. Sack predictions real quick. Jermaine Johnson. I'm going to put him at 9.5 sacks. Does he get over the mark? Maybe. There's been exponential increase. Year number 1, 2.5 sacks. Last year, 7.5. So there should be a natural jump. Maybe he gets to double digit. I'll put him at 9.5 for Jermaine. Redick, I think he's had 4 straight years of double-digit sacks. I don't know why now would stop with better talent around him and the scheme and everything. So let's go 13.5 for for Hassan Redick. I think about 13.5 could make sense. Will McDonald's an interesting one, man. I'll put him in the Jermaine Johnson category last year, 7 sacks. Jermaine had 7.5 last year. I put him at 7, but he has the upside of double-digit. There's no doubt about it. Great questions, Ragnar. Great questions all over the place. Beautiful. Okay, I think we have another thing in here. Jerby says Klecko is definitely eligible. Well, I will still. I've made it, and because the other guys aren't eligible the other way, so it behooves me to use Klecko in a spot like interior because we have other really good pass rushers. So I will keep Klecko in a different pile. Tio says, Discord for Board Group would be cool. Nick Shine just started one this year and it's going great. Okay, I just need someone that can run it. So we could talk about that later. Tio also says, I'm on a desktop, but also on my Android phone, I could gift membership. So Android, he can. Maybe you can explain to you how you gift memberships, perhaps. John Sauer says, Paul, according to my bank, my membership was paid on the 8th. Not sure what happened. Oh, odd. Okay. Well, you might have to just, look into your settings and see. Jerby says, Paul, I'll do it. So, okay, Jared, start putting that Discord together. Whatever you need from me, let me know. Oh, wow, Michael was very close on my sacks. He was a little more aggressive on Jermaine Johnson, but the rest of them were very close. Nice job, Michael, on YouTube, jumping in to answer that question as well. Snowball in the chat, and let's throw it up here on the screen. Let's give throw it up here, the emoji. Let's get those emojis in for Snowball, who made all these wonderful emojis, and more to come. Again, the more members we get, the more emojis we'll be pumping out. So shout out to Snowball, baby, who is chiming in from Italy, perhaps, with the risotto and God knows what else. Let's keep going. Oh, the food is great in Italy. That's good to see. Okay. Okay, I could pick anyone from outside linebacker or DN. I will save Klecko. I will save Klecko for the interior. Sorry, I know I was behind in the comments section. Arnar, Pace, Ellis, horrible choices. Come on, man. Sean Ellis is really good. Now, as a dominant pass rusher, I'm not rewriting the history books. We can all see the stats, but yeah. Oh, yeah, we did have another membership, so let's play the gosh darn chimes, baby. We love to see it. Was this membership, and it is Steve USMC 36. Wow, that's a lot. Steve USMC 3/6. You have been gifted a membership, sir. Thank you to Uncle Tio for spreading the gospel, baby. Spectacular. Tio is, again, Oprah Winfrey today. We love to see it. Yes, we are breaking records. It's cool to see, baby. Spread the love. Pay it forward. Excellent. Knob Deep. That's a YouTube name. What are the odds that Hassan Reddick holds out and never shoots up for the Jets? I would say 0%. 0%. I will give that no possibility. Now, a holdout and trade again. How many players signed and traded within the same offseason that they were signed, especially to this level? That would be, that'd be a story. That's for sure. But no, I will not put stock into that. He's going to play for the Jets. They're going to figure it out. John Sauer, is there a real weakness on this starting team? I don't see one. If you're going to nitpick, safety, I guess, because, again, you have Chuck Clark who's coming off a serious injury. The other guy's Tony Adams, and Tony Adams isn't perfect, but the corners look good. Linebackers look good. The second defensive tackle, if you want to kind of squint. But, but again, what I'm doing shows you what we're talking about here, John. It shows you what we're talking about, that I have to, squint to answer. But it's probably, safety, second defensive tackle, who is also starting, so I'm not saying it like a depth piece, but the number 2 defensive tackle, which I would assume is Javon Kinlaw. But no, the team's awesome, man. That's a first world problem. That's a first world problem. Okay, beautiful. Well, thank you to Tio for all the gifted memberships. So many memberships gifted today, bought themselves. It's spectacular. Again, this is, for those that don't know, it's the Boy Green Coffee Club. That is a way that you could go above the means. What everyone could do, there's nearly 500 people in the room. What everyone could do is like the video and hit subscribe. That's a free way everyone could contribute on every single show, which, by the way, we're live every single day at 7:30. And plus, days like today, I'll be back on live with Woody at 3 o'clock. So there's more content to control. Plus, we have other interviews that'll be hitting us. I believe we're going to have an extra bonus interview this week with a special guest, so just keep an eye out for that whenever that's going to happen. It should happen somewhere on Wednesday. A superstar guest is set to join us on Wednesday for a free bonus show that'll be coming up, and I hope you guys will get an opportunity to check that out, plus all our normal shows. So, guys, that is how you do it. Again, the free way to contribute is liking and subscribing. That's massive, and that means a lot when all you guys take the moment to do that. But if you want to go over the top and help support the show to another level, become a part of an elite fighting group. It is, of course, a Boy Green Coffee Club for $2.99 a month. Great deal. Make sure you do it. Well, thanks, everybody, for tuning in for this crazy show. Again, I started the show. What the show was supposed to be about was just like, oh man, Quincy Williams, what a great contract. It's one of the best deals in the NFL. And I knew that Jeremy Fowler is supposed to be dropping his off-ball rankings today. So I said, oh, Quincy's going to be top 5. So it's just more fodder for the party. Woohoo! I was like, great. This is great. And then he wasn't on the top 10. I'm like, oh boy, that kind of changes the tenor of this conversation. So, you never know. But I appreciate everyone tuning in. So the show was a little wild all over the place, but we love it. We'll be back again live at 3 o'clock talking about and predicting which Jets could be making their first Pro Bowls this season. So it'll be me, it'll be Woody, 3 o'clock here today on a Tuesday. Hopefully you guys can join us for that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. God bless, and we'll be back on soon. Love ya, Boy Green Daily, and let's throw one of these out there to wrap it up. Let's go, baby. Football is here with several teams having the rookies report today. Jets rookies report in 2 days. We'll be here for it. See you guys. God